Special thanks to Kyvor, Mary McDowell, P, Some Great Turnabout, The Reaver, Malik Diligence, Elkhan, Yenners, Jorgen, Starstrucks, Arnie Zatos, Joxy, Muscleman, Viola's on Fire, Vox, Releo, Thomas Hederman, Silverstrike, Captain Luppy, and LW.
Sweetie, you have to believe me. I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene.
So then, where were you when the murder took place?
We talked about it yesterday. Remember? I was in the ringmaster's room.
And while you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right?
Exactly. He told me to wait in the room because he would be right back.
That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right?
That's what it seems like.
But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right?
Sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off.
Which means?
It means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking like Max.
Fabulous! That's a fabulous possibility!
Well done, Nick!
However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? And if you think about it, all they found at that crime scene was my silk hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go?
Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something.
Well, I was never quite sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. Magician or president? You have no idea how hard it was to make that decision.
Fabulous. This mystery just keeps getting deeper.
Now that everyone is back, let's get started. The court is now back in session. Miss von Karma, please proceed with the prosecution's case.
Very well. I will now call my next witness. A pitiful clown with the unfortunate distinction of having seen the entire thing. Will Mr. Lawrence Curls please take the stand?
Why did you just call him a pitiful clown?
The witness will state his name and occupation for the court record.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my...
Name and occupation.
Will the witness please inform the court why he's speaking in autobiographical gibberish?
I'm sorry. I'm just not used to being in court. I've never been in a courtroom in my life. I wasn't sure what joke is best suited for this sort of occasion.
What in the world are you talking about? You're in a grand hall of justice, not some comedy club. Since it's easy to see your occupation, please state your name for the court.
Oh, yeah. Maybe this joke is okay. Mom, do I have to wear pants? The sign only says no shirt, no shoes, no service. Okay. How about this? Have you met my proctologist, Dr. Seymour Butts? How was that one? But a couple of clowns, they were up to no good. Started making trouble.
Your name.
Lawrence Curls, professional funny man, also known as Moe the Clown.
You witnessed the scene at around 10:15 p.m. the day of the murder, correct?
Yes it is.
Very well, Mr. Curls. Will you please testify to what you saw that evening?
A rabbi, a priest, and a Rastafarian walked into this plaza.
Without the humor, please.
Okay.
Aw, poor Moe can't be his normal stoogey self in court.
I know. I'm not the greatest comedian in the world. I haven't been able to make people laugh for 10 years. No matter what I say, all I get in return is a vacant stare and polite applause. Since no one ever laughs at my jokes, I've been taking to laughing at them myself. It's a bad habit, but hey, at least I'm trying. Imagine my predicament. I'm a clown who can't make people laugh. I'm almost useless. I even tried to come up with jokes just for today, but this atmosphere is very nerve-wracking. I just tried making everyone laugh. Seriously, what do you think of me? How am I doing?
Aren't we the ones who are supposed to be asking the questions here?
Witness?
Huh?
We will listen to your call for help after the court proceedings are over. Thus, please stick with the facts of this case.
Really? You'll really hear me out?
Well, I'll make sure that one of my staff will be your straight man later.
Thank you! I can't wait!
Poor Gumshoe.
Now that that's settled, shall we begin once again with the testimony?
Of course we can! I'll talk for as long as you want! The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped! I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. It was the ringmaster, and he was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. I kept watching them, and all of a sudden Max clogged the ringmaster over the head!
That's very interesting. If this eyewitness account is to be believed, I have enough to pass judgment right now.
Of course you can. There is no way this account can be criticized.
However, the witness is a bit, how do you say, off-kilter. Almost like he has some sort of atmosphere of guilt surrounding him.
That must be because of my insincere smile.
Mr. Wright, please begin the defense's cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Nick, you've gotta find some kind of contradiction in his testimony.
I know that!
Mr. Wright,
Your Honor?
I'm afraid that if you push this witness too far, it would bring disaster upon the court. Thus, I sincerely hope you are not going to engage in pointless saber-rattling.
I understand, Your Honor.
If you cause this clown to stray from the facts, I'll hold you responsible.
Why am I responsible? I'm not the one with the corny jokes.
You know, Moe's testimony and what he told us yesterday are kinda different.
Yeah, I noticed. We've just got to pinpoint what's changed.
You can do it, Nick!
You'd say that practice wrapped up around 10 p.m., correct?
See, that's the thing.
Huh?
How exactly am I supposed to make a joke about 10 p.m.? Now 8 o'clock, that's something a clown can riff off of. Let's just pretend it was 8 o'clock. That way I can make a great joke. A man goes to his doctor, and the doctor asks, "How is number 1?" The man says, "Every day at 6. The doctor asks, "And number 2? The man says, "Every day at 7. What's the matter? I slept till 8!
Witness, these are exactly the type of jokes you should save for Gumshoe!
Ow!
You knew what would happen! Don't look at me like that!
Mr. Wright, you are hereby penalized. This will not become a kangaroo court.
This isn't funny at all. In more ways than one. You said you were, pooped that night.
Yes, I was very, very tired. Not to mention I had some bad Mexican food.
What?
The double cheese, double bean enchilada is a dangerous menu item. What happened after that, as they say, happens. That one was cool, huh? I hear the kids really love toilet humor these days.
That joke was so hip, I don't want to ruin it with a reply.
I've got a good reply, though. That joke was so funny, it just earned you a penalty.
This is going well. So what exactly got your attention? Or did you just happen to glance out of the window?
You could say that. You could also say I peeked, stared, glimpsed, peeped, eyeballed.
Mr. Curls!
Oh, I guess synonyms aren't allowed either.
Exactly why did you look out of the window that night?
Why? Why? Clowns don't need a reason to look out the windows, do they?
That's not what I meant. When we spoke yesterday, you said you were already in bed when you heard a loud noise.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You forgot?
Your Honor, the witness looked out the window upon hearing a loud sound. He did not just simply glance out of his window that night.
That's right. I forgot to mention that thumb, didn't I? Ow! Yow! Ow!
That's not something you just forget to mention!
Yeah. What she said. I believe it would be best if Moe were to revise his testimony.
Very well. Mr. Curls, please revise your testimony.
Okay then. Well, I heard a huge noise outside the window, and that's what made me take a look outside.
What was the sound like?
Well, I guess it kinda sounded like... I guess you could say...
Mr. Curls, may the court remind you that humor is unnecessary.
Oh, how'd you know I was gonna make a joke? I guess that the sound sounded like a, I suppose it sounded like someone getting hit with something very hard. Yep, that's what it sounded like, honest.
If you had to say exactly, how far away were they?
Well, let me think about that for a second. If my room is here, and they looked about yay big, I'd say they were about 30 feet from my window.
Just 30 feet? That's not far at all.
But it was snowing that night, and it cut down on visibility a little.
You say you clearly saw this? Even though you were, by your own admission, far away and looking through restricted visibility.
That's right. I'd been thinking about it over and over since that night, but things didn't really make sense until I spoke with the prosecutor, Miss von Karma. But now I am 100% certain that it was Max and the Ringmaster that I saw that night. Just think about it. How could I be wrong if Max is always wearing his uppity symbols?
Uppity symbols?
Lawyers nowadays. Do you even have to go to school anymore to be one? Alright, everyone knows what to do. All together now, say it with Uncle Moe. See what I mean? It's always like this. The crowd never wants to go along with me. I must really be utterly and completely worthless as a clown. Yowza!
Enough foolishness! Get back on track!
You say you saw the Ringmaster get clonked over the head.
Yes, I did! It's the climax of my story!
He does enjoy the completely random non sequitur. What would you say the victim was struck with?
You mean weapon? I have no idea. A weapon wasn't found at the murder scene, right?
No. You did say you saw the entire thing, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did. Wait! No, I didn't. I didn't see a weapon.
Moe, did you or did you not see the crime of murder committed that night?
Objection! I will not permit you to harass my witness in this manner. You'd better have an excellent reason for attacking this poor clown. Because if you don't, you know what is waiting for you. A nice penalty.
Wasn't that a bit melodramatic?
So what will it be then, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have any clear basis to believe that my witness did not see the crime?
I've got a great reason to make my claim.
And I suppose you will be telling us all that great reason.
The reason is the witness's very own testimony.
What is the meaning of that, Mr. Wright?
Moe said that he heard a sound like a thump of someone getting hit.
He did say that.
However, Moe just stated the following under oath. I kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clunked the ringmaster over the head. If Moe is to be believed when he says he looked out the window upon hearing a sound, there is no way he could have seen Max clunk anyone.
In 1972, a crack clown...
Mr. Curls, how do you respond to Mr. Wright's assessment?
...probably escaped from a maximum security clown car.
Mr. Curls, are you reciting the C-Team theme to anger this court?
No. I'm just stalling for time while I jog my memory.
Great job, Nick!
These types of witnesses always seem to have a selective memory. You just have to peel back the layers of clown makeup to find the truth.
Well,
Are you back from your jog?
Well, it pretty much happened the way I said.
Pretty much?
When I looked out my window that night, the ringmaster was already face down in the snow. The prosecution helped me fill in the gaps of my statement.
Von Karma, tampering with the witnesses again!
So now you're saying that you did not see the defendant clog the ringmaster?
Yes. When I looked out my window, the ringmaster had already checked out.
Checked out?
Yep. He was on permanent vacation, as they say.
Mr. Curls!
Your Honor?
You did not witness the actual crime. However, you still say you saw the criminal, correct?
Yes, exactly. The ringmaster was slumped over, and I saw someone's silhouette next to him.
Very well, then. Please testify to this silhouette you saw, and I expect the truth. If I even catch a hint of a joke from you, I will put you in a holding cell until you learn proper court etiquette. Got it?
Got it! I was a bit far away, but that shadow could only have belonged to Max. There's no doubting it. Especially since I saw his uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there! His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him! His cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying.
It does seem as if the defendant was at the scene of the crime.
You took your time realizing that, didn't you? Whatever. That should be enough, right?
Objection! You say you saw all of Max's uppity symbols?
I suppose so. The silk hat and the cloak, right?
Moe, everyone knows that Maximilian Galactica has 3 uppity symbols.
3 symbols?
Yay! Everyone get ready! All together now! Silk hat!
Cloak!
White
roses!
What the?
Who cares if he knew whether there were 3 or not? He saw what he saw. And he saw the symbols. He just forgot to mention one. Isn't that right, Moe?
Do you like pie? I love pie! 3.141592656.
Silence, fool! You are to respond with the whole truth, no fractions!
Order! Order!
Moe, you didn't see the roses, did you?
To be honest, there weren't any roses on the person I saw.
Objection! The crime scene was dark. It's obvious it was too dark to see that kind of detail.
Objection! The witness said he was able to see the silhouette of the criminal's face. Not to mention that the roses are white. There's no way you could have missed them.
Objection! Then the roses must have fallen off when the defendant assaulted the victim.
Objection! If that was the case, then the police would have found them near the crime scene.
Mr. Wright, Are these white roses truly material to the facts of this case?
Clearly not! He is just toying with the court!
I've got her on the ropes now. Whenever there's a nugget of truth, it always seems to peek out at me. Someone is toying with the court, but it's not me. Your Honor, do you recall Trilo's testimony?
It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just an argument. A disagreement at most. Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Trilo saw them all three of Max's symbols. However, this witness claims that there were no white roses on the person he saw. There is absolutely no doubt that this is a contradiction.
Oh, now what am I supposed to think? One is supposed to disregard the pointless, but this...
Judge, forget the roses. Think about his other testimony. The witness has stated without a doubt that he saw Maximilian Galactica. Nothing else matters. Let's wrap up this case now.
Your Honor, it may be trivial, but there should still be doubt lingering in your mind.
Frankly, I have my doubts about this witness. It seems that unlike wine, this witness has not grown more mature with age.
I'm not mature?
I have come to the conclusion that I'm 99% certain that this witness saw the defendant. However, my remaining 1% of doubt is quite reasonable, which means that for my peace of mind, I'm going to request a bit more testimony.
What?
If there are no contradictions in this next statement, I am prepared to issue a ruling.
A ruling?
Nick, this is your last chance!
There's no doubt in my mind. There were no white roses that night. However, all of the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There's no way I can forget seeing the decorations on it. He was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene.
Mr. Wright, you've got one last chance at this.
Just one chance?
I will not allow even the slightest hint of badgering against this witness. If you are going to prove to me there's a contradiction with Mr. Curl's statement, you'd better have at least a shred of evidence to back up your accusations.
I've only got a single shot at this. I've got to be careful. But I think I've got something here. I understand, Your Honor. One chance is all I will need. Hey, Moe. This wouldn't happen to be the silk hat you saw that night, would it?
Yep, that's it. That's the hat he was wearing that night.
No question in your mind?
Exactly how would one mistake a thing like that?
Is there some sort of problem, Mr. Wright?
Miss von Karma, where exactly was the silk hat found?
Must you always ask these questions? It was found at the crime scene. The crime scene? Then that means...
The silk hat fell off at the crime scene. However, the witness clearly testified to the contrary. The witness stated that he was wearing it the entire time he was at the scene.
Oh! That's not true!
Order! Mr. Curls!
Yes, Your Honor?
What is the meaning of all this? You are old enough to know better than to behave like this in court.
Hey, that's just not right! That's so harsh!
What's not right here is your eyesight and your memory, amongst other things.
Why are you being so mean to me? What did I do? Let me guess, you just didn't like my jokes or something, right? You didn't have to go and insult my eyesight or my memory. They're both great!
Seriously, why? Just because you're sitting above me doesn't mean you belong here. And no matter how old I get, I'll always be younger than you.
Enough of these childish outbursts, Mr. Curls. Who do you think you are?
I saw him! I swear I saw him! It was Max! Even if he didn't have his roses, he was still wearing his dumb silk hat! I'm telling the truth!
He's turned into a bratty little kid.
It's pitiful, isn't it?
He left the scene wearing that dumb silk hat! He was there!
He left the scene?
What's the matter, Nick?
There's something I've been mulling over for a while now. Moe,
What do you want?
you said that he left the scene. Exactly how did the murderer leave the scene of the crime?
What? What do you mean, how did he leave the scene? You can't ask me that!
Objection! Mr. Phoenix Wright is badgering the witness, Your Honor!
Objection! This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's protest is useless.
You've got a point. Let's hear what the witness has to say on this matter. Is that all right with you, little guy?
Don't talk to me like I'm a baby! Besides, what kind of stupid question is, how did he leave the crime scene? The answer's obvious! He just turned around and walked away!
That's what I expected you'd say. You sure that's how it happened?
Huh? I'm not sure I know exactly where you're going with this. All lawyers nowadays, they sure do love to harp on the smallest of things. Do you have any proof to counter his story as to how the criminal left the scene?
Look at this picture. The problem is the footprints in the snow.
Footprints?
In this photo, we can clearly see the footprints of the victim. However, where are the criminal's footprints? They aren't there. So, Moe, exactly how did the criminal escape the scene? Your Honor, the witness has already proven that his testimony is completely unreliable. I move to strike all of the witness's testimony from the court record.
I agree. This clown's testimony is about as rickety as the clown car he came to court in.
Wait just a second! You guys can't just ignore everything I've said! Fine! I'll tell you the truth this time!
You wait a second! I think you've said more than enough for today!
That didn't hurt! I'm sick and tired of listening to you anyways! I'll give you the real deal this time, I swear!
I don't know why, but I get the feeling things are gonna get worse before they get better.
Mr. Lawrence Curls,
Yes?
the testimony you've provided up until now has been false.
It hasn't been false! I haven't lied! It's just
what?
It's just I was a bit confused on the bit about the criminal leaving the scene. Especially since Von Karma and her wimp told me not to talk about what I really saw!
Order! I will have order. Franziska von Karma. Oh, could you?
Your Honor, if you had heard the truth from this witness, you would have exactly the same opinion as I.
And what opinion is that?
It's not funny.
That's enough out of you. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Now then, let's hear the truth about what you say you saw.
Ha! You're not gonna believe this, but it's all true!
Try not to waste our time with your idiotic drivel.
Now it's time for our next segment, Moe Knows! Everything that I've said up until now has been the truth! When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down and Max was standing above him! He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. That's when I saw... This is the truth now. Get ready for it. He flew! He jumped up and flew through the air! He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness! That's why there were no footprints! Flying people don't leave footprints!
I told you it wasn't funny. Do you believe me now?
Well, that was, how do you put this into words?
Maximilian Galactica is a world-class magician. But, to leave the scene of a crime by flying, there's no way that actually happened.
You're right.
Why is she right? You believed the other witnesses? Why don't you believe me? Especially since it's the best part of the story!
To be honest, this is the first time I've heard of a flying criminal. What do you think about this testimony, Mr. Wright?
What he just said was so strange. I don't think he could have made it up.
Which means you think he's telling the truth?
Right now, I can't believe any of this. I'm not even sure if this day hasn't been some kind of Kafkaesque dream. Ow!
Now do you think it's a dream, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
I suppose I will let you all in on my thinking regarding this matter. The criminal disappeared into the sky. I'd love to believe that, but I just can't wrap my head around how that could actually happen.
You imbecile!
If you disregard the need for proof, Miss von Karma's case is sound. However, I've got the feeling that this case is in dire need of more investigation. Thus, I will conclude today's proceedings at this point. It's an undisputed fact that the criminal left no footprints at the scene. Tomorrow, I want us to find out the reason behind this mystery of mysteries. I believe that's enough for today. Court is now in recess.
Hey, sweeties! What in the world is going on?
That's what I want to know.
They say the criminal flew off into the air and disappeared!
Max, I can't believe I'm asking this, but you didn't fly that night, did you?
I know you didn't mean to ask me such a fabulously stupid question. I can't fly whenever I please. It's not that easy.
But it looks so effortless for you on stage!
It's not that simple! I'm not actually flying on stage. I use invisible wires and have them hoist me through the air.
Wow! You just told me the secret to your magic!
No! I broke the first rule, the cardinal rule, the only rule!
I'm sorry, Max. I'm sorry you had to break the magician's creed to keep the magic trick secret.
Oh, my sweeties! You mind hurrying up and getting me out of this mess?
We're doing our best, Max. Just hang in there.
You don't understand! A little while ago, some people from a local TV station came by. They said that, since I'm a famed magician, let's make you your very own TV special!
Really? What kind of TV special?
Maximilian Galactica, the Great Prison Escape! It would be aired live.
Hey, that sounds like it would be an awesome special!
But if I do the special before I'm acquitted, they'll never let me out of here for real.
Well, it would surely be an unnecessary addition to your troubles with the law.
That's what I was thinking. But the production staff is already working on the show. If you don't get me out quick, I'll have no choice but to stage a real prison break.
You seem awfully calm about that possibility.
I'd have no choice. It would be a contractual obligation. That's show business.
So, just to be clear, the night of the crime, you didn't fly off into the sky.
Here is how everything went down, sweetie. At the time of the murder, I was sitting in the ringmaster's room. Not to mention, flying off into the sky is not just something I can do at will. I don't care what that stoogey clown says, it wasn't me.
Max, do you think you could try being friends with the other performers in the circus?
Fabulous! A great joke! Why would I be friends with a bunch of hacks like that?
But...
I've won on the world stage! I've won the International Grand Prix!
International Grand Prix?
Performers should always look to perform on the world stage. But the performers at this circus are completely and utterly devoid of ambition. That is something that I simply cannot tolerate.
What's the International Grand Prix?
Oh my sweeties want to hear all about the Grand Prix, do they? To be honest though, I've told this story like 100 times already, so it's a bit boring.
Oh, we're sorry to make you tell it again.
You must not have heard me. I am really sick of telling this story. But what can you do? Oh, I'm Maximilian Galactica. I suppose I can tell it again. Voila! Here, take a look at this. I just happen to have a picture from the Grand Prix with me. Just look at that fabulous stage! That is the first stage that I ever flew on! I flew right over the audience! The crowd erupted into applause! At that time, I thought to myself that I could die right then, and die a happy man. I'll never forget how I felt that night. The emotions, the acclaim.
Wow.
I think everyone who is a performer should get to experience that feeling. I just wish I could explain that to the other people in the circus.
That's incredible, Max. I want a trophy too. Hey, Nick, how about you buy me a trophy?
That's not how you earn a trophy, Maya.
My sweeties, you can have this picture of my triumph. Just make sure you show it to all the other members of the circus. Watch and learn! That's what you should tell them.
Learn how to get thrown in jail?
So, Nick, what do we do now?
All we can do now is hope we find the flying criminal in court tomorrow.
Great idea! Let's do our best and catch this sucker!
I'm counting on you, sweeties.